What's happening, GH15 Team Metal? Um, Today is Sunday, last Sunday of May. Yesterday was the New York Pro, and I unfortunately could not attend. The night before the New York Pro, I had a medical incident with my fiance. She has endometriosis, which some of you might know what it is. Affects her during her period, and it just kind of messes up things, makes it much longer than usual, gives her bad headaches, bad cramps. But we thought that was what was going on, but then we realized that it was either that on top of food poisoning or something else. And by Friday afternoon into evening, she was, how do I say this gently, pooping blood. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. So it ended up, there's, if you Google it and WebMD and everything, there's like 110 possible causes. You can't possibly figure out what it's going to be. But for a while, she suspected that she may have diverticulitis, which is an intestinal blockage. But it doesn't happen to people her age usually. It's for people much older get it. But there's been a couple of incidents that we've wondered if that could be what it is. Sorry, I'm getting some allergies here. You see my eyes are getting all messed up. So on top of that, I get crazy allergies, even though I went for an allergy test and had 100% allergy-free. Like, it's impossible to be 100% allergy-free. Everybody has something, but I did 4 hours of testing, and I got 100% allergy-free. So apparently my completely congested face and itchy eyes is not allergies, which means that it's probably a histamine overcompensation to pollen. So I don't know what that all means. All it means to me is I feel like I have allergies, and nothing really helps it except for a histamine blocker. So it's just like having allergies. So I'm going to go get some stuff for that, because that's rearing up right now. So not a very fun night on Friday, and Saturday she was feeling better, but I just didn't feel like it'd be a good idea to drive to New York and then have to come home on a whim, or not on a whim, but on a dime if something happened and get to the hospital or something. So it was a tough decision. I really, really wanted to go. I had things set up to go there, but I couldn't. And luckily, I know some people who are pretty tight with Steve Weinberger, and they were the ones who hooked me up with tickets, and they ended up being able to sell them, and I didn't have to pay for it. So that was good. In other news, I'm actually heading to the gym now. I've trained maybe 10 times, maybe less, maybe 8 or 9 times in the last 3.5, 4 weeks. It's been a lot of rest. Recently, you can see my face is filling out. Recently, my weight has crept up to the mid 190s, but I still look really hard, other than my face. In the abs and the chest, arms, legs, front legs, some of the hamstrings. My glutes and back are all soft. So now I have 8 weeks until I should be probably starting prep again, where I'll be starting from this body weight where I am now, and better than I looked at 8 weeks out, or even closer, 6 weeks out maybe. So I'll start at 12 or 13 weeks out with a 5-week head start, which should be sufficient to get really, really ripped. I was really impressed with Victor Martinez. Obviously, the guy has been through tons, not being able to train or eat or do the stuff he needs to do when he's in prison. And to come back out of that and do a show within a year and look the way he did, which obviously was smaller than we're used to seeing him, but I think we'd all agree that he looks better than we're used to seeing him. His back was fantastic. His side shots were great. And, I mean, his front quads are still a little weak since the injury, but his overall flow was much better. His waist was really tight. Looked awesome. So, you know, all the condition, like even like Rami was in condition. I don't know how he did it. I guess with a guy that big, it's just all water at that point. I mean, we saw his 3 days out photos, and it was like, this guy's not going to be hard. And he came in, and he was hard. I mean, yeah, it's got that bloofy look to it, and it's, you know, the blow up doll look. But you got to admit it's impressive. I mean, especially from the back, it's like he doesn't have much of a back, like GH15 said. But I mean, it's all there. It's just not there. But then you put him next to everybody, people that have been competing for, like Vic, for 15 years or whatever, and he just fucks them up. It's really crazy. I mean, I don't know how much better he can get. I don't know where he can go from there. Does more stuff even matter? I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, let's see. It's the same thing with Phil Heath. Can Phil Heath really get that much better at this point? He could probably get bigger, but does that mean better? Is he going to lose detail? Can he gain any detail? So that's what we'll see with Rami. Other than that, John De La Rosa looked good. Juan Morel looked amazing. I've been following these guys on Instagram, and I mean, they're ready weeks out. Nobody saw Vic, but you know, a lot of these guys looked really good weeks out of the show, and it's pretty inspiring. I mean, it makes you want to do a better job yourself if you've had a bad showing like I have. So, you know, I explained it to my fiance today about. She said, "When's the next 16-hour day?" Which for me is every day. So I was like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? When's the next contest?" I was like, "Oh, when's your next 16-hour day?" Ah, I see. So you don't have to come to my contest. I mean, I know you want to be there and support me, but it's kind of, after a while, it's been there, done that. I mean, I'm going to win the next one, so you might want to see it, but I don't expect anybody to want to take an entire day, spend $100 plus, and come to see a show that's not entirely interesting to somebody who's not in the... I mean, maybe the first couple ones are moderately interesting just because they're weird. And then maybe it gets more interesting later if you move up the ranks and you're going for a pro card. I can see that being pretty exciting for a spouse, but I'm not going to tell my parents, I'm not going to tell my brothers and sisters and everything that I'm competing. I'll tell them a week out, yeah, I'm doing a show. They'll all know because I'm lean, but the last one I just made such a big deal out of it and it looked like such poo that I feel like it's a letdown, and I don't want to have everybody there be let down that way. I just feel terrible about it. So, I mean, if I look really nasty, I might just start buying people tickets and saying, "Come on, show up." But other than that, I just don't want to put anybody out. Drive 3 hours to come see a show, spend a bunch of money. You know, not really that interesting for them. Especially with 3,000 bikini. Not that there's anything wrong with bikini. I love the sport, and I think it's really good for the NPC. But when you're competing or watching the show, it's there's no way to get it on time when 400 people show up and 300 of them are bikini contestants. You're never going to be able to appease everybody because they're there for the bodybuilders. So you got to put the bodybuilders on last, otherwise they'll leave, and nobody will see the bikini stuff. So they put the bikini first, but it takes 3 hours. So it's a pain in the ass, but they do the best they can. Anyway, I've been talking to prep coaches about doing my prep, and I'm not going to name any names at this point. Nobody's really amazed me with their methods or their response time or anything like that. Most of them are "Wow, you look really good," and you prep people. What do you need a coach for? And I'm like, if you don't know the answer to that, then you're not a very good prep coach, or you haven't competed. And all these people have competed and do compete. And then there's a couple people that are interesting to me, like some of the pros, that are pretty expensive, but I think I might learn something if they want to teach me. And I'm not sure they do, but spending $1,500 for a coach, I would do if I'm going to learn. Absolutely. But if they're just going to be like, take this, and then I'm like, well, what's the reasoning behind it? I have people do it this way. And they're like, I don't have time to explain this to you. I have other shit to do. I can understand that, but from my vantage point, it's not worth it for me because I'm not going to end up learning. There's a guy getting out of a car in front of me who's watching me talk to myself. Probably thinks I'm completely fucking crazy. Anyway, I'm at the gym. Rambled sort of a little bit here. Hopefully it's a watchable video. I'll get you a lot more content. Oh, what I wanted to say is I'm going in for blood tests in a week. The Rhode Islands are next weekend. I'll have interviews, prejudging stuff, some backstage stuff. I'll post that. And then I'm not going to the night show. I'm going to go train with Equisador. And we're going to go, and I'm going to Boston that night for something I had bought tickets for like 6 months ago. And then I'm going to get blood tests the next week, so I'm already in detox mode. I've been on a cruise for about the last 14 days and will continue to do so through the next probably month or so before I start up again for prep. And when I do start up for prep, I'm going to do the video series I've been talking about training the body parts that and the movements that you don't like to do, training them the hardest. So look forward to that. Talk to you guys later. Peace.